I'll definitely bring you that story later, but I have to take you now to the Makola market where fire is ravaging some buildings there, we understand, and those visuals will come on your screens shortly. We're yet to pick up more details on exactly what happened and what may have caused the fire, but there you see some shops still burning there, and we understand that the fire service has been to the scene, and we'll get more details on why the fire is still on even though they've been there, and what challenges they may be facing. And you can see some people gathered there pointing at the building. Also would try and establish contact with the JoyNews reporter who is on the ground to tell us exactly which part of the Makola market this is. But currently the news we have is that there's a portion of the Makola market on fire, and well, I can see some, yeah, it looks like the fire service personnel. People are running out of the building. It appears the fire may be spreading, and so we can see people running out of the building down there. Yeah, more people coming out. You can see the fire service personnel also there, and if you know the Makola area very well, there is a fire service station very close to it. And so we'll be getting more details. We can also see police officers who are trying to, it appears, speak to some people who may have who just came out of the building. And someone appears to be confronting officials there. Well, these are live visuals coming to you from the Makola market. You can see a portion of the market on fire. We're still trying to reach our sister station's correspondent, that's the JoyNews team, that's currently on the ground. People look very distraught, very disturbed as the fire keeps burning. The fire service personnel on the ground will try and figure out what attempts they've made to put out the fire and if they're making any headway at all.
Oh yeah, so maybe a general down now. Your Ghana Commercial Bank, GCB, Abeno. In this one, I'm open for and share. No one to one content a January. Now, out to the other side now, your City Good and a Ghana Commercial Bank. I wanted that. I'm sure now I'm far as I'm Papa, I'm far back. It is a way you are. I don't see you do not Irish. Or your Makola market. A jar, water, her, and a pay, and a Irish police for her, fire service for her. When you are better than now, why should I over to a content a janum? Make it, no fire tenders, no, by 5. Fire tenders and no 5 for her. Now they're not so Wabaha. It is a SSS, my oracle now. A Yano and a Oredo Uja and a Oredo Pa. You, your Papa Modern Day and your man for only ways to come up. They are shy upon a Jano Afado. Now answer Nayaba Coordinate Ehunda Ejano, Ono and a Oredo or Sorono. Orange baby, City Good and a Ghana Commercial Bank at Danwano. A sort of baby, Emun Sessiano, and a baby, Oban, City Good Nini, Ghana Commercial Bank Suni, and a Jana or a down Suniti. Obviously, they are too close. Waban Pa, it is a fire service room, wasn't about one way, sir. When two and contain a Jano, oh baby, or a down there, I'm sure. I'm far as I'm Papa and back. Nippon Pem and a way to share. Also, horrible when you come, now where shall I, Oracle, our Makola market, it is as well in Makola market, the Oracle, the Oracle doing. Robert wasn't there, Yanny, a month for Nibby Basin cover. Everyone wasn't there, and a month for Basin cover. May I shall the Uni and a Unia Apostle.
One who say, Jadari. You say I'm passing there. Sesiano, bueno, and you can't get it to win or somebody. So what I say, or say, come when you lift.
what you man? As I ever time them now, as I'm missing.
What time is the market time by 9:30? Around 9:30. Around 9:30. But we do an over 11 more. 11 boy.
Makola market area. And according to our sister station's correspondent, Adum TV's correspondent on the ground, he's seen about 5 fire tenders trying to put off this fire. He also reports that there's a GCB bank quite close to where this fire is, and so the officials are really trying hard to douse the flames because the repercussions may be problematic. At this point, I realize he's trying to speak to officials of the fire service who are a bit upset at the moment. Okay, so the official actually thinks that he shouldn't be speaking to lay people on this matter, but they're trying to douse the flames, which, as you can see, is still really burning thick and fast. A lot of thick smoke in the area. Earlier, we saw people running out of the building. So the reporter is still trying hard to get official response on this, but he reports that the fire is really growing intense despite efforts by the fire service officials, and he reports that more fire tenders are coming in, trying to douse the flames. You can see the fire service officials there. There was one gentleman who we spoke to on the ground who suggests that the kind of fire tenders being used may not be appropriate, and that the lifters will be able to reach the fire faster. So what we also understand is that the fire service officials are pouring a lot of water at the low section of the building, and so the fire is not able to spread to that section. But for the top floor, the topmost floor, the fire is still ravaging, destroying property, burning thick and fast, and so there appears to be a challenge with dousing the flames. But you can see so many people who've gathered witnessing the incident at the Makola market. So many people even gathered on the store building opposite this building, but this is still at the Makola market. According to the reporter, this fire is happening at the Makola market, and so the very latest, he's still trying to reach the fire service officials on that. The fire is still burning. You can see now that the other side of the building, the topmost part, is also beginning to catch flames. The left portion of it. It appears the fire is spreading.
We need more men.
So there are many more people expressing concerns about the type of equipment being used.
I cannot say, I say, you are gonna how. I can I say, I'm a cow, no more than Sobakuma Ban, Omonibio, a Janis, look at it, the whole building has bent. A shot that movies on a shot that get Mukawana, Makachamo, I'm going to me, Makasamuko, personal, Moko fire service, I'm so much to me, yes,
and some amount for work in there. Fire service for Anka. Baby, I didn't know you on Sunday. One tender now, what was it for so no, on a win you are. But at the fire service for one car and car, everyone there. Oh, yeah, reinforcement town, a war friend, reinforcement town, our friend. Fire tenders and let's say, Bana was it about. Says young there, Mayor of Accra. Mohammed Hassan, Webber says, I know an impayful, Webber says, also watches or Quadono. Fire service for no, when you listen, come on now, watch as we're briefing so far in summer, or Quado, Nasa, Woguda, Warrior, into as when each Makola says, a Jana, or no, Anna, airport, Mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ajesowa, Wabaha, and with that fire service forward in an Chanam, when you listen, Kobo, they were church and in Sama or Kodono, says yes, and with that, the Wusino, Ayakumo, Ewa, it's the end with that, so what you so Gumupa, no, a Wusu Bebre, and that's a Wusi Bebre, not Waba, it's situation a day. Fire service for home was the answer. Onyaza were to work with the situation. Onyaza were to work with the situation. See, Yaguda Arba Pro, our Ejana Aresho. Yaguda Arba Pro, our Ejana Aresho. No, see, Umbra in Zamarco, says, so nothing. Suana Aresho. So, and the Ejano, a bit so asan at the Moor, so it's says as a Ejano Kwan or Dana Ordo, and there Ejano Adawo inside. Ejano Adawo inside. And there Ejano Oriso Zamba inside. I'm a Husino, Pana, Oroko, City Gold, the Maso Anna. Ghana Commercial Bank, building now our Makola. Building now our Makola.
So you're just hearing the Adum TV correspondent reporting on the fire incident happening now around the Makola Market area, and it appears the fire is still spreading despite the presence of fire service officials. The people around, traders and bystanders, are concerned about a generator which is close by, and they're worried that if the fire gets close to it, it may ignite another fire which may spread to other buildings. And so, as you can see, if you've been watching this from the beginning, the fire, you could see the fire at the right side of the building, but on the left side now, you can see the flames now almost beginning to engulf that building. Many people gathered there, a lot of fire service officials. We understand the Accra mayor is there, Mohammed Ajesowa, has arrived at the scene. And if you know the area very well, there's a fire service station very close to the area. And so the fire service, we understand, is trying hard to douse the flames by spraying water there, and in some instances, when they finish spraying a section with water, the fire comes back again, and they're really trying hard to douse the flames there. We understand that a lot of people have been evacuated from that building. Earlier, we saw people running out. We don't know if they were in there trying to salvage property or trying to deal with the fire, but what we saw was that people were rushing out. The fire is still spreading, according to a reporter on the ground. And the fire appears to be spreading to other sections of the building. All right, it appears that there are more fire tenders coming. Okay, so 2 more coming. We understand that the officials on the ground are calling for reinforcement. And so hopefully they'll be able to deal with the flames. So we understand that this building, which is burning, is close to the City Gold office and the GCB bank office. So there are concerns, especially for the bank, that if this fire spreads to that place, it may be very problematic. And so the fire service is still trying very hard to deal with it. And this is about a 3-story building. And those visuals you've seen were captured earlier. So you can see a bigger appreciation of it from this angle. You can see the extent of fire from here. And you can see that this is an array of shops that are likely to be affected. And there appears to be a lot of wiring and electrical poles also very close to the building. And so you understand the impact of this. Okay, so now the fire service is trying to deal with the fire directly. So trying very hard to douse the flames. Initially, the fire tenders were at the bottom trying to deal with the fire and prevent it from spreading to the lower sections of the building. But now we see that more fire tenders have come and they are directly dealing with the flames at the topmost floor of the building, which now appears to be on the 2nd floor as well. And so we expected more on this on the ground, and hopefully the fire service will be able to deal with the situation. But these are visuals coming to you from Accra Central, close around the Makola market area. And you can see the fire still ravaging. A lot of people gathered there. The fire service struggling to deal with the fire. Officials asking for reinforcement. We still don't know, of course, the cause of the fire. And it appears to be that despite the efforts by the fire service, the fire just keeps spreading. And they've got more fire tenders coming in. You can see people who have left their wares, you know, just there, obviously in fear for their lives from getting affected by the fire. Hopefully we'll be able to get a word from the Accra Mayor, Mohammed Idrisoa, who is currently at the scene. So we understand that this is very close to the new Makola Mall, very close to it, close to City Gold and the Ghana Commercial Bank. So it appears that there may be some explosives in the building, because according to the Adum TV correspondent on the ground, the fire becomes more intense when they hear some explosion, and so he suspects that there may be some explosive material or material that react to fire in that way. Highly flammable material, probably, causing the fire to keep spreading and getting more intense. If you started watching earlier, you would realize the fire was just at the top floor of the building, but it appears that it's now spreading to the 2nd floor. It's a 3-story building. And now I can see fire at the 2nd floor now, and we can see the fire service spraying what appears to be water. Yeah. So you can see the fire service there. The police also is on the ground. Obviously, you know, sometimes when these things occur, people take advantage and loot other people's property and worse. And so the police is on the ground to also maintain law and order. Again, the reporter says that you still hear some explosions in the building. It appears there's some highly flammable material in there, which continues to fuel the fire and cause it to spread. The fire service, it appears, are trying to deal with the fire store by store. You're watching News Desk with me, Bernice Abubeidu-Lansa, still on the Makola market fire. My colleague Manuel Cranting is there for us. Hello, Manuel. Tell us what you can see on the ground. The fire appears to be spreading.
The building right next to the GCB building at Makola. This is a 3-story building that is currently on fire. I see it moving, and the fire is spreading rapidly to adjacent buildings and buildings that are really close to it. And on the ground, I see about 3 fire tenders that are all working, as it were, to douse the flames. And I could count more than 50 firemen and women on the ground currently doing the work to douse the flames. But up the building, which I just told you, is a 3-story building. I do not know exactly what this building used to house, but what I could tell, the second floor of the building is currently on fire, and every particular room on that floor is on fire. I see the lintel and really the beams of that floor burning, and as it were, they are falling off piece by piece, because you are seeing some wood that was used to build the floor. And ordinarily, the typical Makola buildings have billboards and notice boards attached to their frontage for the purpose of advertisement and so on and so forth. And so we're just trying to repeat the building, because we are hearing some explosions in the room. From where I stand, it looks to me as though this particular floor that is currently on fire used to house combustible materials, and we'll try and get some official responses from the fire service officials on the grounds. But as you can see, this is a serious moment, and the first point of call is to get the fire under control before any such engagements can be had. And so we'll just try and speak to a few of the eyewitnesses here who might have seen the very beginning of the fire and get a bit of appreciation on what might have caused this flame. What I could see now, Ben, is that the fire, which started from the 2nd floor, has now extended to the 3rd floor, and so both of the floors are currently in flames, and we are seeing thick smoke emanating from the source of the fire, and all around the adjoining buildings we're seeing people in their balconies and so on and so forth, trying to catch a glimpse of what is happening. And this is exactly what is happening. Ben, is well over 50 fire officers on the ground collaborating in a concerted effort to get the fire under control. And so I just get my cameraman and the team to just retreat a bit, because the smoke and fumes that are emanating from the building just getting thicker and thicker. These are this is what thick black fumes, and so we're just retreating to give you the pictures that we're seeing right here at Makola Market. And this is just some 15 to 20 meters away from the GCB building, which is at Makola. And as the fire extends to other buildings, if it's not brought under control in a matter of minutes, we may just see it extending to all the other adjoining buildings. And that's what the situation is currently at the Makola Market.
Hello, Manuel, can you hear me?
And so we are seeing the crowd and hearing them boo the fire service officials.
Hello, Manuel.
We do not know exactly the reason for the boos that we are hearing, but this fire tender seems to have run out of water, and so it's moving away from the scene.
Hello, Manuel. Hello, Manuel, can you hear me?
And so, Bernice,
yes.
If you can hear me, behind me is that particular three-story building, which is on flames. Now we're seeing some military presence also to lend some support to the fire service personnel on the ground who are trying to douse the flames. So we just get a bit closer to a few of the people here and then ask questions about what might have caused the fire. Madam,
Yeah, then
die with then shame.
I say banana bakushi. I flat. What's the other name?
I'm not on there. It's a then after the Nina nation.
Yeah, fire services are says I am question. I see
fire service was here. Central Market. A jacob will send me a call. I'm so many and so Kabako Penesio. Better 10 minutes and Sana Kabedua. Can also buy a Brusan a Jatum. Can actually any so. I'm a pipe on the to me, and
so they are explaining that, well, it took about 30 minutes before the fire service officials got here. But now we are seeing a reinforcement team in people who are dressed in military uniform. And it looks to us that the military is here to give support to the fire service to fight this particular inferno, which we are learning has caught the three-story building, which used to house shops with sold reusable materials, including wigs, including makeup materials, and so on and so forth. And so you're seeing now in your shots some of the people here cheering on the army officials as they attempt to support the fire service personnel to douse the flames. We just get a bit closer here and then give you some interaction. Then a buyer a journey starting. Well, he's explaining to me that the first respondents, when they got here, according to him, the tender did not have enough water. They're making the point that
anytime you call them, they are working on the street just like that. So you want to tell us that you have this thing there without water inside?
And that's what you are hearing. Some of the eyewitnesses making a point that they're really shocked to have learned that the first respondents who arrived here with their tender did not have water. This is something that we cannot independently verify and confirm to you, but these are the accounts that we are getting from some of the eyewitnesses who are currently here at Makola, the scene of the fire. And so I see also now another fire tender approaching and getting close to the scene of the fire. And this is what is currently happening. We're seeing attempts and really efforts from some of the people who are standing by here to assist the team to douse the flame. And so from what I'm picking, as orders are backed out to the various officers on the ground, well, they're asking them to use foam to douse the flame. And that's exactly what is happening currently here at Makola. So these are live pictures that we're bringing to you from the Makola market, where a 3-story building is currently in flames. And just to give you a better appreciation from this angle, well, the fire has extended from its point of beginning, blazed all through the second floor, and now the third floor also blazing out. So you could see now in your shots efforts to douse the flames, and this is the fire tender, and the water from the fire tender currently being pumped into the building that is currently on flame. And this is happening amidst cheers and claps from the crowd that has gathered here to watch the efforts by personnel from the Ghana Fire Service. And then just about a minute or so ago, we got some folks from the army also arriving to assist them douse the flames. But as this is going on, we hear something in a semblance of explosions from the second floor of the building that is currently on fire. So this is happening at market. And we see they are extending the borderline that has been created for them, so that it will give unimpeded access to the fire service officials to actually fight this particular inferno. And so very briefly, we'll try and get you some of the folks who own shops up there that are currently on flames.
Manuel. Hello, Manuel, if you can hear me. Earlier, we saw something drop onto the ground after what appeared to be an explosion. But people seem to be still...
So currently from all angles of the building, from its rear, from its frontage, and from behind it, we see fire tenders and officials actually pumping water to fight the flames. And that's what's happening.
Hello, Manuel, can you hear me? Hello, Manuel.
So what you can hear in your background are cheers from the crowd that has currently gathered here at the Makola market to watch the action as it's happening, or really devastating fire that has caught this 3-story building. We're told housed beauty products, cosmetics, and weave-ons, hair products, and so on and so forth. Have a lot of the things that were contained in the building are combustible materials and highly inflammable. This is the reason we're having for the past 30 minutes or so fire service officials currently on the ground attempting to douse the flames.
Hello, Manuel. If you can hear me, I can imagine it's a very noisy scene. But if you can hear me, Manuel.
And what's more, as the efforts gain grounds at one point of the building, there are other explosions from the other point of the building, which is making it almost very, very difficult for the fire to be doused at once. And then we'll just quickly try and approach the fire service officials here to get a brief of exactly what's happening and what might be causing this. And so I see the rails on the floors currently on fire. Well, for the second floor where the fire actually started, all the rails have been bent and some of them have fallen off. It's currently even worse on the third floor, and that's actually making it really difficult for the fire service personnel to douse the flames. And as this is happening, there are spontaneous explosions in the building. We don't know exactly what may be causing the explosions that we are seeing and hearing from the second floor of the building. But as it is, this is what is currently happening. From where I stand, the pressure from the fire tender is currently low and it's making it difficult for it to get to the second floor. A lot of engagement that I'm having with a few of the officials here indicates that their goal is to currently break its flow of spread to other facilities. And so as the flames So as the fire blazes through the various floors, their goal is to make sure that it does not spread to other parts and other adjoining buildings. But the immediate next building to this particular three-story building that is in flames is what I see with the inscription Alhaji Shaibu Alawe Memorial House. And all of this is happening in the principal street of Makola, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, just a few meters away from the rolling spark. And this particular building, we've learned in the past couple of minutes that housed beauty products, cosmetic products, hair products, and so on and so forth. Well, at this point, it looks like the intensity of the flames have reduced. After close to 30 minutes of fighting the flames, well, we still see some flames in the third floor, but its intensity compared and relative to about what it was 30 minutes ago has reduced. I think we can now attempt to speak to some of the officers who are on the ground currently to get a brief of what their preliminary assessment was, because earlier there were fire tenders which were brought in and had to be moved away, and I heard orders being backed out to some of them to say they should use foam. And this is what is currently happening at Makola. Well, we do not know if, as of yet, there's any casualty from the fire. But as it looks, the goal of the fire service is to bring the flames under control. But minute in, minute out, I see explosions from the second floor, giving indication of still some combustible materials that are contained in that particular floor. So just arriving at the scene of the fire is the Mayor of Accra, Mohamed Ni Ajay-Soa, to observe what's happening for himself. And he's led a team from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to assist and give support to the fire service men and women as they attempt to douse the flames. But this is what is happening. I see the fire service officials now get a bit closer to the building, and they are now not discharging the water from the roof of the fire tender. Now they are some 10 meters away from the building, and I see them discharging the water right into the building. And as I described to you earlier, the flames have caught up with every part of the building. This is making it difficult to attack the flames from one particular point, because from every point that you attack the flame, it extends into the opposite direction. And I see from where I stand some people who look like victims and people whose belongings are actually being raised down by the fire. Well, I see a police officer attempting to calm them down from here, and this is what exactly is happening. Madam Pacho,
They should come to our aid. Our things are burning. It's burning. No, they should come. The fire service are not doing anything before the thing gets out of hand. It started from the outside before it's going, so they are not doing anything. They are just saying they don't have water. The whole fire service, they don't have water to quench the light. It has got out of hand. It's inside now. They should come and help us. We are dying. Our things are burning.
Well, we see them now fighting the flames, and that's some good news for you.
It has got out of hands before they come here, because it is started from the outside before it gets inside.
Your own staff in there.
It started from here, the first building here, before they go outside, before the thing gets inside.
But I'm seeing that it has affected your shop.
It affected everything.
How much worth of goods is in the shop?
Sure, more than billions upon billions.
Billions of CDs.
Our things are spoiled.
What do you sell? What do you sell?
Cosmetics. We sell cosmetics. The things are all burning.
And you just heard her say that they have...
The fire service should go inside. They should come to our aid, and the things are burning inside. It's really burning. It's burning inside. They should go inside and quench the lights.
Madam, only machine, madam.
There we are there.
Only machine. Now, Janet here then starting not say starting kitwa.
Starting when you move here, somebody know. And the fire service for them come see show near the enemy. And I stand and focus so. And to mo do many mo hand right inside the one more. And I my inside the cosmetics tie one you know.
And just to explain to you, she said the fire started from the front, and just like I described to you, the typical Makola buildings have billboards, signposts and signages right in front of them for the purposes of advertisement. And just like you're seeing, these are typical Makola buildings. And just to your right, adjacent the building that is currently on fire, you are seeing how the billboards are displayed in front of the buildings. This is what they do for the purposes of advertisement. And we're just learning about a minute ago that the fire started by catching one of the signages. The fire service was invited, and according to them, and I'll just emphasize again that this is something that we are unable to verify and independently confirm for you. And that fire tender which arrived was not able to put it down. The attempts to actually douse the flame escalated it, and the fire extended to other portions of the floor, and that made it to extend also to the 3rd floor. I hear them say that this place is too congested, a reason it's been difficult for the fire service to actually douse the flames. Well, I see a woman who is currently in tears, almost breaking down. I don't know if her staff are in there. Mommy, the patrol is shemana.
Yes, so shemo.
Muston, then I'm ton.
You're told lace.
Lace. And to money lace, no.
And lace in Kwa.
And a jano ashinina.
I first had me ba. Mrs. Eddie can't honor me who know.
This is the kind of shop on a wing.
Shop on me who know, not friend me.
I'm not proud of what Mamuniamano Ekako saying.
Eh, Dawson, you didn't be free quan sobre.
We never more shedding now, Nakosana Besha said, Amuniamano bit me a doom a jano. So you just heard her tell me that, well, she is just even arriving at the scene, but she owns a shop that in which she sells lace, and lace are typical fabric clothing with special designs on them. Or she's just telling me that they received the consignment not so long ago and is currently in flames. You're seeing her, break down and in tears, giving you an indication of the extent of loss that she's actually having to deal with. Now, I'll just give you a picture of her as she's breaking down. So there are pockets of fire that are actually developing with each passing minute. With each passing minute, we are seeing pockets of fire actually developing, typifying the description that we were giving a couple of minutes ago by some of the eyewitnesses, that the fire started, fire tender got here, attempted to douse it, and then it extended to other parts of the building. And so as the efforts to douse the flame are ongoing, I see thick clouds of dark smoke that are now engulfing the entire center of the central business district in Accra. These are live pictures that we're bringing to you from Makola. Some of the victims who have their wares currently in flames, breaking down, giving you indications of the extent of damage that have been caused. And as I spoke to them, I asked questions about how much they may have lost by the fire. And typically they are unable to even quantify how much they have in the buildings. And so by my count, this is the 5th fire tender that is currently discharging into the flame. This is the 5th fire tender that is discharging into the flame. And just to give you an appreciation of how serious the fire is and how devastating really this inferno is. My boss, your shop is in there?
My shop is in there, boss. My shop is in there.
What do you sell?
We sell wigs.
Wigs?
Wig.
That's it.
Hair product and hair products.
I see. But what might have caused the fire? What I started from a billboard. Was that on your floor? Which floor is your shop in?
That's our last floor.
Your shop is on the ground floor?
Yeah, on the ground floor.
And the fire has extended to the ground floor?
All over the building. when it started, it was a small something. So we walked to the fire service station. When we went there, they said they are not working.
They said they are not working?
They said they are not working. They said the car is not working. So we need to call. When we call, we are giving them directions. But what they told us was that they don't have water. So they are now feeling the attack before they come to us. That was what they told us. As what I know, fire service there, you need to feel every time. You need to know that there will be an emergency. So you need to be well prepared before you come. I learned when they came, they couldn't quench the fire.
But your shop is there. How much worth of goods do you have in the shop?
Also, 70,000.
70,000.
70,000. Over 70,000.
Over 70,000 Ghana cedis.
Even Saturday, you know, when you are engaging in buying and selling, you need to borrow. You borrow goods more than 5,000. Because we all got banned. All got banned. They said some of the cars are not working. They don't have car. They don't have, so I don't understand. We are in the country, but we are suffering. But we are suffering.
And this gentleman is telling me that his shop is in there, has goods worth 70,000 Ghana cedis. And I'll just describe to you as I move across this portion that the scene of the fire is just some 200 meters from the fire service station at the Central Business District, which gives you a really close proximity to the scene of the fire. And expectations, and as you just heard them express, the expectations that they had was that the proximity being really close to the scene of the fire, it would have been easier and quicker for the fire service to douse the flames. But the opposite we are learning this morning actually was what happened. And now the fire is blazing almost uncontrollably because there are explosions that we are seeing and hearing from the 2 floors that are worst hit by the inferno, the 2nd and then the 3rd floor. But from where I stand, I see cracks on the roof of the 3rd floor. I see cracks on the roof of the 3rd floor, giving me an indication of how weak the building has become because of the explosions and so on. And we'll try and move away from this particular point because from what I see, it looks like a bit of the building is about to fall off. And as this is happening, I am seeing the SIT fire tender that is actually arriving. And so frantic efforts are being made to get the inferno under control. But from what I see, it looks like the fire has been centralized in the middle of the 3-story building. The fire has taken over the center of the 3-story building. And so as the fire service men and women discharge water from the side of the building, it's difficult for it to get access into the building because the fire is really centered at the middle of the building. And now really people are getting an appreciation of the extent of the flames. And you can see currently in your shots, how the fire is blazing. How the fire is blazing almost uncontrollably. And we've been here for the past 30 minutes or so giving you updates and live reactions on this particular inferno. But that's what you're seeing. The fire currently blazing from the middle and from the center of the building. So we're just trying to get you a better view of the fire which is currently being fought now. And on the grounds, I can count now in excess of 80 officers from the fire service, from the army, and we're seeing concerted efforts to get the flames under control. I also see some men from the police service also on the grounds assisting with crowd control and creating a perimeter really around the site of the inferno. And that's what's happening. What you're seeing currently, thick dark smoke from the roof of the 3-story building, which is currently on fire. Well, now there's an attempt by the officers of the fire service to offload and deploy a ladder that will give them a better access to the building, which is currently in flames. And for all the billboards that were joined and really in front of the various floors of the building that's in flames, all of them have been bent down. And the remains really are just aluminium residue that we're seeing on the various floors. And so you can see there the shiny aluminium plate that was there. That was before now a billboard used for advertisement. But that is just one of the least important things that have been bent down this morning. We've been told by some of the victims and some of the eyewitnesses that goods worth 70,000 and over have been bent in this particular inferno, which has been blazing for close to an hour now. And so currently we are seeing the fire service officials try to discharge the ladder to get a better access to the building, which is currently in flames. But now we are seeing pieces of the debris that have been bent on the 3rd and 2nd floor flying out of the floors, and they're landing anywhere the wind blows them to. And that's what we're seeing here. The team and myself, we've tried to just move away a bit from the scene and really the close perimeter that has been created by the officers from the fire service. What I see currently is a mammoth of crowd at the Makola market, looking on helplessly as colleagues, friends, family and so on have their wares, which are eating into thousands of Ghana cedis, are raised down by an inferno which started only as a little spark of flame. So the said fire tender currently about to be discharged. On the ground floor of the three-story building currently, we're seeing remnants of the flames here, of the stuff that have been burnt and raised down by the flames. So I see aluminium billboards that have been raised down. I see shelters that have now been melted and torn down by the raising fire. And just when we thought the flames were being brought under control, now we're seeing another raft of fires that have been started at the rear of the building. Now we're seeing another raft of fires that have been started at the rear of the building. And as this goes on, remember, it is thousands of Ghana cedis of people's goods that are currently being raised down. And that's what we're dealing with this morning. In the past 1 hour or so, the fire service officials have been on the ground attempting to douse the flame with reinforcement from officers from the army. I also see the police officers attempting to create some space for the firefighters to do their job. And so now we're seeing the ladder being extended to just about some 15 meters away from the fire, the building that is on fire this morning. I see two officers side by side, one behind the other,